Hey guys, welcome back to Flea Market Finds, the show where good old Devall here gives you a look at some of the stuff that I find in rummages, flea markets, garage sales, antique stores, auctions, and so much more. Now today is actually a really cool episode, and a big shout out goes out to Pixel Dan for showing me this gold mine of a rummage sale where he and I spent probably way too much money on stuff. But let's get to the Flea Market Finds, which is the reason why you guys watch this show every time I throw it up. And I thank you, the fans, for checking it out every time I put it up. Now, I've got some very, very cool Transformers, some G1 Transformers, which are kind of one of those things where you only really dream about finding at a garage sale, a flea market, a rummage sale, and whatnot for decent prices. And I pretty much hit a really cool motherload on these. Now, first one I got up for you is none other than probably one of my favorite and probably one of the greatest Transformers in Generation 1 ever created was Jetfire. Based on the Robotech Valkyrie model, Hasbro somehow managed to license this bad boy to release it under the Transformers banner, and it is probably one of the coolest Transformers it was ever released, period. Now, I happen to find all of the armor except for his left leg clip, which isn't a big deal because the left leg armor stays on pretty good without it. And I couldn't find his gun or his gun clip, and that was kind of sad. But to find a G1 Jetfire pretty much complete with his armor is a godsend. And if you're wondering how much, just to make some of you guys out there hate me a little bit, I paid 15 bucks for this. I've seen this guy at toy shows in the same deal, in the same shape, going for, the guys wanted $100 for this guy. 15 bucks. Keeping with the Transformer goodies, I found a bunch of the mini cars of the smaller Transformers, and they're pretty cool. I found little Beachcomber, and he's pretty cool. I found one of my favorites that I had as a kid, Cosmos, the little spaceship. He's darn cool. I found Power Glide, which was another one I had as a kid, which was very cool. I found Gears. There's always another one of my favorites that I actually didn't have, but this little, you know, blue and red truck, which was pretty cool. I found Brawn, one of the more odd G1 Transformers that I think ever released. His transformation is really odd. You have to like spin the doors out a certain way to get him to work right. You know, you got to pull the arms out all the way. He's neat, but you know, again. And Warpath, one of the cooler Transformers released. I love the little red tank. I always loved Warpath. I always thought he was really, really cool and just a neat little, some nice little G1 mini Transformer finds there. That's always a plus. I found, with all the Transformer stuff, I found a vintage Skywarp with his landing gear, his fists, both of his long missiles. His wings are all there and everything. I could only find one of the little short stubby missiles he came with, but I have both the long missiles, and those I think are always the best ones to display with these guys. So a really, really cool find to pick up a vintage Transformer like this. Again, just to make you guys jealous, I paid 5 bucks. I don't know how many of you are really going to be jealous, but I look at that as a good deal considering all the toy shows I go to and the amount of money I see these little guys asking for. 5 bucks is a good day for me. I found one of the coolest Dinobots and one I never had, Swoop. Swoop had a few issues. His beak was broken. The clips where his head actually connects to the body, the front part of those clips are broken off. But other than that, I found both missile launchers. I found one of his red missiles. It kind of sucks. I did find his sword. I'm pretty sure I accidentally gave it to Pixel Dan because Pixel Dan found a couple of Dinobots. So I'm pretty sure Dan has my Swoop sword and I have Dan's sludge sword. Pretty sure. Because the sword that I had that I thought was Swoop's, it don't fit his hand. So I'm pretty sure I gave the wrong sword to Danny. But again, one of the most sought after, at least from what I understand, G1 Transformers that everyone always looks for, and it's always kind of hard to find a decent shape because those clips break off, the beak does break off, but I managed to fix mine, and after all, mine's going to be a display piece, so it really, ultimately, I don't care if the head's broke, as long as it stays on like it is now, it doesn't bother me one bit. Now I found the jump starter top spin with his weapon, which is awesome because I had the other jump starter and I just found his weapon on eBay for like $4, so I bought the weapon. But to have both jump starters is awesome. I loved these as a kid. They were always some of the coolest Transformers, and I always liked the fact that pretty much 9 times out of 10 they worked like a dream. I found some GoBots, and while not Transformers, the GoBots are still cool, but I found the Super GoBot from the first series of those released of Destroyer, and it's pretty cool because it has both. I found both of his weapon parts. The only thing that's missing are the actual treads on the tank treads, but other than that, again, it's a display piece for me. I'm not really that, you know, upset that there's no treads. I'm sure eventually I'll run across the junk one that actually has the treads on it, and I'll pick that up and put the treads on my good one. But the fact that I found both pieces of the weapon, which are usually missing on this guy, is a big get for me. So that was awesome. He's going to go with the rest of my GoBots. So the next GoBot thing that I found is this little puppy, the awesome GoBot Command Center. Now, I actually have found it in 2 different ways. I found all of the interior parts for the most part at the rummage sale. I found all these Transformers, and then I knew there was an antique store nearby that had the body for $10. So ultimately I really only paid $10 for a pretty much complete Command Center. The only part it's missing the rear door, which kind of sucks, and I'm missing one of the rubber tubings inside the sucker, so that's kind of crappy. But both of those parts are pretty readily available for the most part on eBay, pretty much 9 times out of 10. And the other cool thing is that he works, which is awesome. So I put a 9-volt battery in it, hit the button, ta-da! I have a alarm going Command Center, which is very cool. Wrestling wise, I don't usually buy a lot of wrestling figures, but if I find big LJN wrestlers, or if I find the Hasbro WWF stuff, I will pick them up if the price is right. And one of the ones I found was, I found a little Shawn Michaels. I just need Marty Jannetty to go with him, but Shawn was always cool because much like a lot of the action features of the 80s and the early 90s for these guys was, Shawn has this little lever on his back, and you push it down and it pulls his upper body down, and then if you release it, he'll flip, he'll jump. So that was always a neat little action feature. The only problem is his pinky's broke on his left hand, which again, he's a display piece for me, so not a big deal. And he's got some paint wear on him, but I think I paid 50 cents for him. So again, something cool to set on my shelf for wrestling. The other wrestling item I found is from the old LJN line, and he's actually in really good shape. And the only reason I picked him up is because Hulk Hogan has his World Championship belt on, and the belt is in pretty pristine shape. No paint wear, all the paint's still there. It's not just a big blob of black. Hulk himself has a little paint wear, like, you know, his knee pads are rubbing off a little bit, and his body's got some rubs on him. But one of the cooler lines of wrestlers, and the fact that these are still surviving to this day and not deteriorating, is a big plus to what exactly these big rubber guys were made of. So a nice little addition to my wrestling. Now, since buying movie star Michelangelo on the last episode, I've started to find more and more Turtle stuff, and actually have started to pick up some of the stuff that speaks to me in a way. One of the items I found was the awesome movie star foot soldier, and I could only find both of his nunchucks. I couldn't find any of his other weapons, but still, for the movie star foot soldier and the fact that I had both the nunchucks, still a plus, and he'll go on my shelf with the rest of my Turtle stuff. The other Turtle items I picked up on this episode, at least, are is some of the ones that they don't get a lot of love because the show is pretty much hated for the most part, and that is the Next Mutation, which was the live-action Saban series that was done for the Turtle franchise. And while not a great hit, I still do love some of the figures out of the line. I have a Venus de Milo. I've had a Shredder and Splinter at one time, and I still have all their weapons, but I don't have Shredder and Splinter anymore. And I did happen across in this rummage sale to find none other than Leonardo, Next Mutation Leonardo, Next Mutation Donatello, and Next Mutation Michelangelo with all of their weapons. Everything these guys came with, I have all of their weapons. The only one that I'm missing out of the Fab 5, if you count Venus, is Raphael. So I'm hoping eventually I'll come across the Raphael at a toy show with either on card or with his weapons loose, which would be a big plus. So I'm going to keep my eyes out for that. But again, not a bad, I think I paid $1.50 for them a piece. Again, not a bad deal when you think that they have all their weapons and they are in pretty good shape. They've got some paint rubs on them, and you know, other than that, they've been played with and they're really, really cool. They're cool figures. The show wasn't great, but I really like the figures. Harry Potter is not a thing that I collect a whole lot of. I've got a few Harry Potter figures. I've seen some stuff from time to time that I bought. But one of the things that came out a long time ago, and I remember Pixel Dan binding, and I remember thinking I should have bought one of those, was the Harry Potter Slime Chamber playset from Chamber of Secrets, that line from the Mattel release. And I found one mint in box. So I have a Slime Chamber from the Chamber of Secrets line from Mattel. Complete inbox, and it's one of the cooler slime pits. I mean, Pixel Dan had bought it to basically use with his He-Man guys because it, you know, it goes along with that. It kind of, you know, looks like the vintage slime pit. But again, I paid $3 for it. So, I mean, for a mint in box, never opened. I probably am going to open and display it, but again, $3 for a mint in box slime chamber. I'm not going to pass that up. I'm going to buy it. Last item for this episode, and then we're out of here, is the very cool. Now you guys know that I'm into board games. I like 3D board games, and I enjoy them. If I find them in their complete and really good condition, I usually pick them up. And I found this actually at a Salvation Army for like $2. And the only reason I bought it was because, again, it's a 3D board game, and I love me some 3D board games. So I bought the Disney 101 Dalmatians 3D board game, which is really, really a cool little piece. I really, really like this. I think it's one of the neatest looking 3D board games I own currently to date. While it's simplistic in nature, and the game itself is pretty, you know, pretty simple considering it's ages 4 and up. It's still a neat little collectible to have, and it will be a really nice addition to my board games. So there you go, gang. That wraps up episode 3 of Flea Market Finds. I hope you enjoyed a look at some of the stuff that I found, and be sure to look for episode 4 here really soon, and possibly even episode 5, because as I start going through this stuff, I start to realize I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. So we're going to split this up through a few episodes. So enjoy, tune in to ToyWorldOrder.com for all the coolest video reviews, original programming, and podcasts, including David Devall's Toys and Collectibles and Married to the Collection. So make sure you check us out and check out the forums, www.toyworldorder.com/forums. Sign up, it's absolutely free. Come talk with all the great toy geeks at Toy World Order right there on the forums. And until next time, gang, this is Devall telling you, keep playing with your toys.